Okay. Awesome. Hello, everyone. I'm going to give it just a few seconds, minutes, see who's going to pull up and show on up real quick. Just a couple of minutes. All right. Hello, everyone. Hello. It's your girl, Nakia P. Evans. It has been a minute since I've been on Facebook Live. We've been doing a couple of things in the group, but I haven't done anything on my profile in a while. So I'm happy to be here. If you're here, how about shout me out, post on the comment under here so I can see you. I'm doing Zoom and Facebook at the same time, so y'all gonna have to work with me, okay? So go ahead and comment below so I can see that you're here. Let me know that you are here, and we're going to go ahead and get started. All right. Awesome sauce. So first of all, I'm excited to be here. As I told you, and I've shared all on Facebook, that I'm starting a series called Wake Her Up. Okay. And it's quite a funny story of how that came to be. And usually, you know, when you look at it and you're like, wake her up, you're like, Kia, who are you talking about? And I'm talking about the woman that God has called you to be. Waking up that person that God, hey, Tamika Barnes, how you doing, love? You know, waking up the woman that God says that you are. And I'll tell you how this came to be. This week, I have encountered last week and the beginning of this week, it has been so emotional. It seems as though everything was just piling on top of each other. You know, I was drained physically, emotionally, you know, mentally. Everything was seeming to happen in my life. And so just like, you know, how kids are, you know, when you're not really giving them what they want at that time. I was having like this little tantrum with God. Oh, I miss you too, love. Thank you. I miss you too. We'll definitely get up and talk. So I was having this little situation with God because I was like, okay, God, so it's my night off and I'm supposed to be asleep and I'm sitting on this chair and I'm stressing and I'm doing all this other kind of stuff. Something is wrong. Something has to give. And God said something so simple to me. He was like, wake her up. And I was like, what? He was like, wake her up. And so I'm looking at my daughter. I was like, well, she's not asleep. Like, who exactly are you talking about here? What does it mean, wake her up? What does that mean? And so I'm sitting there and I'm asking questions. And if anybody knows me, then you know that I am not a patient person. Like, that's an area where God is like literally working on me with. Okay. I'm not a patient person. And so usually, like, if I ask a question, like, I'm like, looking at the minutes and seconds and everything of when I'm going to get an answer. And so that is all he gave me at that time. He was like, wake her up. And so, you know, all last week I was completely out of work because of my job computer. And so I was stressed out. I was like, oh, I'm not going to have money that, you know, next week. Like, what am I going to do? I have bills to pay. I have a daughter to take care of. What am I going to do? And I'm laying on my couch and I'm stressing out and I'm thinking about all these different types of things that I need to do. And I'm like, God, like, what am I going to do? You know, and it's so funny how we say we trust God. We talk about, you know, hey, you know, this is God is my everything. I trust him. I have faith in him. And yet when we're presented with certain situations, sometimes that faith seems to go away. That trust is not there the way that we sing those songs. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, I shared this a while back when I did a Facebook Live about 2 weeks ago in my group. You know, we say that we trust him, but when situations arrive, do we really trust him? And that was a question that God had asked me. Do you really trust me? And so just like that, because I'm looking at what my paycheck gonna look like, I'm looking at what this is gonna look like and all this other kind of stuff. And he just said, wake her up. And so, you know, I'm sitting there and I'm like, I'm not quite sure what that means, guys. Like, I need you to elaborate. I need you to, get a little deeper in this. Like, can you really explain to me what you are referring to when you say, wake her up? Who am I supposed to wake up? Who am I supposed to wake up? And, and it got kind of frustrating because I'm still sitting there asking questions. It was almost like a kid. When I tell you that I'm a spoiled daddy's girl, like that's what I am. Because, God is my everything, that's my daddy. And I'm like, I want daddy to explain. I want daddy to give me answers. I want him to give it to me right then and right there. And sometimes that's not how it works. And so just those simple words, wake her up. And so I'm sitting there and I'm like completely freaking out and stressing out because I'm like, okay, well, I don't know what that means. Like, can you explain, elaborate? Can you do something so I can understand what you're talking about? And so I'm still sitting there and I was just like, you know what? I quit. I just got quiet. And it was in the time that I actually shut my mouth that God began to speak some more. Isn't that crazy? Sometimes we just need to shut up. Shut up. Shut up. I said this before. Sometimes you just need to shut up. Stop talking. Stop asking questions. Sometimes, like, allow him to give you what you need. And every time that when you want it, sometimes it's not the way that you want it to happen. For me, I'm the type, if you tell me to go somewhere, I need directions. I need you to tell me what kind of locations I'm looking at. Like, I'm a very detailed person. I need those details. If you tell me something and it's not detailed, I'm like, well, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, I'm the type where I need details. Like, you have to do that. And sometimes when you are, when it comes to God, he's very detailed in what he say, but sometimes you just need to shut up so you can be able to get the instructions, be able to get what he's trying to give you. And, those are lessons that I learn all the time because I'm not patient. And sometimes I like to run my mouth because I'll be like, Daddy, God, really, Jesus, this is what you're going to do to me? You're going to say that and then you ain't going to finish what you're saying? Like, that's not right. That's so rude. Like, come on. I thought we were better than that. And so, that's how it is sometimes. And so when I started to be quiet, when I shut my mouth, God began to speak to me. He says, I've given you every single thing that you need to do what you need to do. And I was like, what? It was like having a complete dumb moment at the moment because I was like, what? And I just stressed. And Jesus was probably like woo-sighing because he was like, I need this girl to like be quiet so I can tell her, hey, Adrienne Nicole, what's up, girl? He's like, I really need her to like hush so I can finish explaining to her what this is. And, just like that, I was like, what? Like, what happened? But God began to show me that there was a part of me that I was still sleeping on. I just got through talking to my friend and my sister, Irena, and, we were talking about different things. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, this is stressing me out. This is stressing me out. Like, I know that there is more of my life, of my purpose than just this. Have you felt that way? Like, there has to be something else. There has to be something more than just this. I'm not built just to work a 9 to 5. Well, technically in my case, 11 o'clock p.m. to 8 o'clock a.m., a third shift all my life and pay bills. Like, that's not what I'm built to do. There's more. God has given me more. And, and I had just got through talking about this and saying these things. And I'm like, I need to get on it. I need to start doing it. I need to get where I need to get. I need to do this. Like, God has given me visions. God has given me, plans. Like, there's things that he's given me to do. And God showed me, he was like, well, there's a part of you that's still sleeping. You still sleeping on her. Because technically, you ain't really doing everything that you could be doing. You're not doing everything that you should be doing. We want the purpose. God has already given us the purpose. But sometimes we sit there and we want every single thing laid out. It's just like, and when God had started giving me these things, I started thinking of my own daughter when she was little. And not only that, but started thinking of my nephews because, as young children, and when they're young, my nephews, I have the youngest nephew that I have, he's 1. And so he's like, okay, so when you do this, he's sitting there waiting for you to do something else, because he relies on that. And sometimes that's how we are, even when we're kind of like, we're not so much as a babe in Christ anymore. When we've been kind of doing this thing for a little bit, when we've been in church and singing them songs, and we've been quoting them scriptures, and we've been doing all this stuff, and yet we still want every single thing laid out for us. Come on. And I can say that and I can laugh about it because I know my relationship with God. And I tell people all the time, I am still a work in progress. I will never say that I made it. And I still have those little fits like kids. Even though I'm 33 years old, I still have those fits when it comes to me and Jesus, okay? Because there's sometimes that there's sometimes I want God to just lay it out for me, show me this, take a step here. And where do I need to go now? Okay, so this is what I do. Instead of actually stepping out on faith, instead of actually stepping out on his word, on his promises, on everything that he has already given us, everything that he's already said, we still want those little breadcrumbs. We still want to make sure that, we're doing this instead of trusting him to go where he said to go. So that's what God told me. He was like, wake her up. And, I'm like, wake her up. Okay. Wake her up. Okay. Wake her up. And so, if he started showing me these things of how he has given this stuff to me. He's given these things to me. He's given me, the personality to talk and run my mouth, but I'm also able to empower, encourage people because of my story and because of what I've been through and because of my relationship with Christ and because everything that I have endured. So therefore I can understand what it feels like to be masked, what it feels like to be in a certain place, what it feels like to feel like you're suffocating because you're not living in your purpose. So, I understand that. And so as I started to be quiet and shut my mouth, like I said, sometimes that is what we need to do. We need to just shut up. Okay, we just need to shut up. Like, I'm so serious. Sometimes we need to shut up. I was laying there and I was asking God like 1,000 questions and I didn't get no response. And it's probably because I was talking so much, I didn't allow or give him time to even answer me. You know what I'm saying? And then it was like when I did be quiet, because I'm not that patient, I'm expecting an answer right away. And sometimes it don't work like that. It doesn't work like that. So God said that to me. He was like, wake her up. Everything that I've given you, you can do what I've shown you. You can do these things. Wake her up. Because she's in there. Because the person that is supposed to be walking out this purpose and trusting God and doing these things, hey, she's there. You just got to wake her up. And Chauncey, you are right. Be still and know that he is God. And that's what it's about. Understanding that, hey, just kind of, just chill. And when I have fits like that, I laugh because I'll be like, God has a sense of humor. I'm like, he's probably like woo-saying and he's probably doing those little memes that I'll be posting on Facebook and be like, it's not worth the jail time. It's not worth the jail time. When this girl keep asking me all these questions over and over and over again, But we want to talk about waking her up. And, I could not sleep that night after God started showing me these things, after he started pouring these things in me. And I was like, you know what, God, you had already told me who I am. You had already given me purpose. You have already shown me these things of what you wanted me to do. I was the one that was sleeping. I was sleeping on myself because there's a fear there sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Because there are, challenges and things that come up against us. And we're like, wait a minute, I'm not quite prepared for that. Or I may not know how to handle that correctly. Or just the frustration or just the tension of it sometimes allows us to kind of pull back and be like, wait a minute, like, nah, I thought I wanted to do that, but no, I don't think so. I don't really think that I want to do that. So I'm gonna step back and I'm gonna just chill. I'm gonna just chill here. Aisha, absolutely wake her up. I need y'all to hashtag that. Can y'all post that? Hashtag wake her up, because it's time to be woken up. Like, we need to wake up. Stop sleeping on ourselves. Stop sleeping on the woman that God says that we can be. I sit there and I can go through, like, when God gives me a word and God gives a prophecy to me, I write it down. And then, like, you're going through the books and stuff and you're like, oh, God said this about me. And you get so emotional. You be like, he said that. And I just don't know. And this and that. And it's like, okay, so you can be that person. You are that person. You just got to stop sleeping on it. You got to stop sleeping on it. So my question to you is, what is it that God has told you? Hey, Jennifer, what is it that God has told you of who you are? What did he tell you? Did he tell you to write a book? Did he tell you to do a magazine? Did he tell you to share your story? Did he tell you to, just shut up and show love? Like, what is it that God has told you that you are? That what has he shown you for you to do? Those things you can do. Yes, I understand it gets frustrating. I mean, I'm about to work on my third book and I still have that slight of fear sometimes. It's like, whoa, wait a minute. Let me think about this. Let me, God, are you sure? Are you sure? This is what you want me to do. Are you sure? And we start asking these questions and we want these certain answers. And he's saying, I've already given it to you. Like, just shut up and do it. That's just my interpretation of how it goes. Like, it's like, hey, just shut up and do it. You know what I'm saying? So we want to wake that woman up. Okay. We want to wake her up. Wake that woman up who's fearless. Wake up the woman who's like, you know what? I understand that these challenges are coming. I understand that things are happening. I understand that the devil is going to try to tempt me. He's going to try to turn me. I understand that there's some people that I'm going to have to drop along the way. I understand that there are some relationships that I'm going to have to let go of. I understand that I'm going to have to distance myself because there's somewhere that I need to be that God is pushing me towards, and I have to get there. I have to wake this girl up because I need to be everything that God says that I can be. Everything that he says that I can do. Like, these are the things that I need to do. So she got to wake up. She got to wake up. Now, I'm going to tell you another thing that we struggle with sometimes. We say, oh, well, God has given me this purpose. And then, we figure out what that purpose is, and then we go running towards it. Okay, so let's take a step back. Now, in Genesis, when God created Adam, okay, and he was like, oh, it's not good for me to be alone. So he put Adam to sleep and he created Eve. Now, Eve had a purpose to be with her husband, with Adam. So when she woke up, she didn't know nothing about no Adam. The Bible says that God brought her to Adam. So you need to understand that the God will bring you to your purpose. You need to stop trying to run ahead of him and allow him to take you where you need to be. Can we say amen to that? Because I mean, when God showed me that, I was like, yeah, I just got spanked. I was like, you know what? I just got spanked because I know that there are times where I was trying to run into it myself instead of allowing God to show me, instead of allowing God to direct me, instead of allowing him to take me to my purpose. I'm just trying to run and do it myself. Listen. What that little boy said, listen, Linda, listen, honey. Listen, you allow him to do it. Sometimes we have to get to a point where, you know what, it's like, please stop. Okay. And that's what I can tell myself. I'd be like, Kia, please stop. Just stop. Just chill. Just shut up. Just sit down. Just be quiet. Just shh. Don't talk. Don't talk whatsoever. Because we can talk ourselves out of the path that God's trying to take us on because we're trying to figure it out. I'm an analytical person. So listen, you tell me something, I'm dissecting, I'm going this, and I'm like, well, you need to be a little more detailed with that. What does that mean? Because I don't like to necessarily make assumptions of where I stand in certain situations or what's happening or what you're talking about. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't have time for that. So basically, I need details. I'm a detailed person. So, okay, you need to kind of just shush, just stop. Stop talking yourself out of it because you don't have every single thing right now. Because you sitting there waiting for God to drop these breadcrumbs to sit there and put you on your way. But yet we go to church and we want to talk about, oh, I trust Jesus. I put my trust in him. And then when we are encountered with situations, that trust and faith is gone. Okay? I can say that. I can say that because I've been there and I just did. And if you're in my Facebook group, No Longer Hidden, then you know that I just did a Facebook Live on that because I put myself out there and I let everybody know that I was singing these songs and quoting these scriptures and saying all this other kind of stuff and getting all excited on the fact of saying that I trust him. And then yet when I was encountered with a situation, it seemed like that trust was gone just that quick because I got scared, because I got fearful, because things started happening that I wasn't used to. And I was like, whoa, wait a minute now. Wait a minute. Some got to give here. Some got to happen. So listen, I am here tonight to encourage you to wake her up. Okay. Like we're going to be talking about this all week. Wake her up. And the first thing that you can do is you need to understand the truth. You need to understand and accept the truth that, hey, I've been kind of sleeping on myself. I've been sleeping on myself. I mean, we can be honest with that. I mean, how many of you can say that you've been literally sleeping on yourself? That everything that God has given you to do, everything that God has shown you to do, that you haven't necessarily put the effort and the time and the faith and all those ingredients in it to do that because of some issues, because of circumstances, because of maybe a little bit of fear, because of this or because of that. Can you say that? I mean, I can say it. That's why, you know, one thing, if you pay attention to me at all, you'll understand that everything that I share is always based off of my own experience. Okay. So I can sit there and say that, yeah, I have been sleeping on myself bad. I was sleeping on myself bad because I was waiting for certain things to happen. I wanted Jesus to drop a breadcrumb here. And then once I get to that breadcrumb, yeah, I'm looking for the next one. Like where you got it at. You know, and like babies, we want them to, you know, you expect to get these things. But as a baby grows, a mom and dad kind of steps back a little bit so that the baby can be able to kind of find his way, you know, weave and wobble his way through it. So he'll be able to start making decisions and understand his own type of faith. Even when it comes to walking, the mom and dad is not going to hover over the baby every single time. Yeah, go out there and fall a couple of times, but you'll be able to get back up. Like this is what we're talking about. So, you know, we have to stop expecting God to just hover over us all this every single time and be like, yes, turn left. Did you dot that I? Make sure you cross that T. Yes. Turn to the next page. Yes. Do you see that error right there? Yes, that one right there. Let's go ahead and fix that. Like you have to get to a point where you're like, okay, God, this is what you have given me. And I know that you're going to direct my ways. I know that you're going to direct my steps. But I also understand that every single thing, every little single thing, sometimes it's not going to be given the way that you want it to be given. You got to be able to understand that. Sometimes I'm looking for those breadcrumbs. And sometimes God is saying, I ain't giving you no breadcrumbs this time. Maybe we're going to do it this way. And then because it's not the way that I want it, I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. Really, Jesus? That's where we're at now? Like, I thought we were like this. And now you're not giving me breadcrumbs the way that I want it. So it's all about how you look at it. But what you need to understand is that woman that's inside of you, that person that's inside of you, that man that's inside of you, you need to wake him up. Wake her up. Wake her up. Okay. And in order to do that, the first step is you need to be able to discover the truth. And that truth is, yes, I've been sleeping on myself. You know what I'm saying? I've been sleeping on myself. I haven't been doing everything that I needed to do. Yes, there have been some fear there. Yes, there have been some doubts there. Yes, that's what I've been doing. And because when you finally be able to realize that and understand that, then you'll be like, okay, so now I know that there's some adjustments that I need to make in my life. There's some things that need to happen in my life. There's some things that I need to change in my life. So you got to be able to discover the truth. That's number one. That's number one. In order to wake that woman up, in order to wake that person up, you need to be able to discover the truth. And that truth is you may have been sleeping on yourself. And there has to be something that needs to be done about that. Okay? So that's what we're talking about. Okay? So wake her up. Wake her up, because there is more to life than where we are. You know, I get frustrated and be about to pull my hair out and be ready to flip tables and all that kind of stuff, because I'm like, there has to be more to life than this. It has to be. I'm not built to do just this every single day. And then God reminds me, hey, I've given this for you to do. This is where you need to go. This is the purpose that I've given you. This is what you were created for. Stop sleeping. Wake up. Stop sleeping and wake up. Wake her up. Listen, I hope that you were blessed by that. Me sharing all my little business, all my little whoopings and spankings. But listen, I'm going to tell you that I am so encouraged and empowered by this series that God has given me to do. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about the second step. So the first step, you gotta be able to realize the truth. And tomorrow night, 9:00 on my Facebook page right here, we're going to talk about step 2 of how you can wake that person up. Okay. Not only that, but I'm excited to share with you that after God was able to do some work and help me realize where I was sleeping at, and help me realize what I was doing wrong, and show me and guide me and push me on out there a little bit, that we were able to birth out the Wake Her Up boot camp. Okay. Now this is a boot camp. It'll be 1 week. Okay. 1 week boot camp. And we are going to really dive in on these things of how we've been sleeping on ourselves, because we're about to go into a new year. And I don't know about you, but I refuse to go into a new year still sleeping the way that I was before. Yes, there has been some amazing things that have happened in this year that I thank God for, that I'm blessed by. But can I tell you that I am looking for double, that I'm looking for more, that I'm expecting more in 2018? But in order for some of that to happen, I can't afford to be sleeping on myself. We can't afford to be sleeping on ourselves. You cannot afford to sleep on yourself. You got to wake her up. Wake up that woman. Wake up those gifts and those talents and those things that God has given you, so that you can fulfill the purpose that He has given you. Stop sleeping on yourself. That is what this is about. So we have this 1 week boot camp, okay, which will be starting November the 27th. All right. And if you see the information above, there is a link. Right now, you can join this boot camp for $27. Okay. And this is a boot camp that we're going to do Monday through Friday. All right. And we're going to have coachings. We're going to have you get a one-on-one call with me. You will be able to get a starter kit. We're going to have a workbook, and we're going to really go through this thing together, so that when 2018  comes, there's no more sleeping. Like, we're going full force. We're walking in it. We're walking in purpose. We're walking in faith. We're walking in our identity. We are being the woman that God has called us to be, because He has so much greater for you. And you know, like I said, I don't know about you, but I refuse to sleep again. Not gonna happen. Okay. So listen, if you're interested, you can click on that link and join now. Right now, the price is only $27. Like I said, that will change. Okay. And I only have 12 seats available. Okay. 12 seats available. So if you're interested, make sure you click on that link. That will be the price as of now. And make sure that you join me tomorrow night, so that we can talk about step 2, because we're going to talk about what else we need to do. Once you realize that you've been sleeping on yourself, what you got to do now? Because these are steps. I mean, you just can't be like, oh, I realized. Bam, let's do it. There's a couple of more steps that we need to go through, a couple of more things that God has taken me through. And I want to share my experience, my journey with you. And so that we can be able to wake up together, so that we can do this together. And that is what this is about. So I pray that you was blessed. You know me, I love feedback. Make sure you holler at me, inbox me, post it under this video. And make sure that you check out the link above in the description, okay, for the 1 week Wake Her Up boot camp. Okay. And I'm super excited about this, because this is going to be awesome. We're going to have some great teachings. We're going to have some great coachings. It is going to be fun. The workbook is looking amazing. So listen, I'm telling you, you want to get with it. Okay. I need you to get with it. All right. So listen, make sure that you do that, and make sure that you be here tomorrow night. Okay. 9:00. on my Facebook page as we talk about step 2 of waking up that woman that's in you. Okay. All right, guys. Thank you so much for kicking it with me. I greatly appreciate it. I love y'all. Be blessed.